Ah. That was classic. That was a classic uncanny
Yep.
move right there. I haven't done one of those in a long time. That's fantastic. Welcome everybody to a special episode of this Uncanny Earth. But you guys get the vintage logos um, with these episodes because they will be few and far between. We'll give you something every now and again. Um, Tonight we are discussing cryptids. I feel like it has been long overdue since we've talked about these things. Um, and I really wanted to do some that were more likely to be real than fake. You know what I mean? Like you could say a golem is sort of a cryptid, but I don't know if rock coming to life constitutes the ability scientifically to feasibly do that, and I don't think
It's
so. I'm
called
not
an
gonna say
earthquake.
I'm against it. I'm not going to say I'm against it, but I just don't think in the realm of possibilities it's as easy as say like, you know, a kraken or something like that. You know, something that would make sense to exist as opposed to something that naturally would not exist. And so, you know, we'll leave out superstition for some of these because I feel like that's the best way you can do these. Um, we'll go ahead and start with you because I see you're rocking a type of a hairstyle, and
Yeah.
I know you've been real happy to get into this one. This is like your favorite thing. This is like your favorite cryptid.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, in reality, it still is a cryptid. It would be classified as a
No,
cryptid. So,
no, it wouldn't.
no. Oh, you're going to tell us why, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Oh, well, do you know what? By all means.
So there is something called the Saola, Saola, also which translates to Asian unicorn. It is a critically endangered bovine native to the Annamite Mountains of Vietnam and Laos. It was scientifically described in 1992 based on remains found in Vu Quang National Park, marking it as one of the most significant zoological discoveries of the 20th century. The species is so rare that its existence in the wild can neither be proven nor disproven, with the last confirmed camera trap image dating back to 2013. As far as the conservation goes, Vietnam has established protected areas like the K Nuoc Trong Nature Reserve to safeguard its habitat, though estimates suggest fewer than 100 individuals may remain. And recent genetic studies have constructed from hunting trophies reveal two distinct genetic populations that could inform future captive breeding efforts if any individuals are located.
Okay, so now I have to ask you this question. Have you been able to connect that species of wild animal to legendary unicorns in Europe? Because that's a far distance.
Ah, I have not even bothered to try because I was just
Okay.
too excited that they were real, and so I was like, "They're real,
Well,
that's all I need to
well,
know."
well, let me say this
Okay.
because I think you bring up a good point. So unicorns in their supernatural aspect would be cryptids because they're
Like the
more than
rainbow stuff.
just a creature with a horn in its head. Because if we would speak genetics, there's no telling what has existed. The dodo doesn't exist anymore, right? That
Yeah.
thing died off long before any of us were born. So and I'm in agreement with you. Genetically, I could see it being very feasible. I think that when we look at it from that aspect, it makes sense. I think when you start throwing the supernatural aspect into it, you have to connect. You have to try to take
It's
this in
alchemy.
Asia and connect it here. And I think that's how you really establish a solid theory because you're saying, okay, I'm connecting dots. You know, we could sit here all day and just make up theories, right? But if you can't connect the dots, it's a little harder to prove them. So I think you should look into that. I was able to connect the deermen in Ireland, Cernunnos, with the Native Americans here in the United States. The deermen cryptid, half deer, half man,
Oh, nice.
or half man, half deer. You know, either way, I don't want to be either part of that because then you're just walking around.
Yeah.
So, tell us more about the unicorn. Tell me your favorite unicorn thing.
Okay, so obviously the first one that comes to my mind is probably going to be Harry Potter,
Mm.
because in the very first Harry Potter movie, or it might have been the second one, Chamber of Secrets. I don't remember at this point. It's been a long time, But in one of the Harry Potter movies, one of the early ones, when he was out hunting he who must not be named, Lord Voldemort, there was actually an instance where Lord Voldemort was feasting on the blood of unicorns because of its healing properties. They say that the horn of a unicorn has very advanced healing properties that
Right.
are, so healing. They're basically magical and they can heal almost anything. You know.
So let's say this, because I think we can bring something into focus to pull some strings in the right direction. So in Asian medicine, horns and things, and in African medicine, horns and things are ground down, right?
Into a
They
powder.
have certain they have certain properties that fit that,
Mhm.
right? So there you go.
It's
Now
alchemy.
you can kind of change that focus a little bit and say, okay, if they were able to get his horn, now you have to wonder if that was a they overhunted and they drove them to extinction long before recorded history that we
Like
have
the ox.
today. Yes. Yeah, genetic mutations in the wild are not unheard of. Different species exist. I think what we need to do is look at it from that light. I don't think everything has to be a cryptid 24/7. I think we can bring to light that. However, I'm wondering where the mystical properties came from, right? Because when did you say this was first discovered? What
When it
year?
was
What year?
first discovered,
Hmm.
let me see real quick. Hold up.
And if you could pull up legends about it, that would help
Yeah.
too, like dated legends.
The
We
earliest
do things in
one,
real time here.
it was scientifically described in 1992 for the first
Hmm.
time. Like as
Okay, so
scientifically.
look up unicorns. When were unicorns first talked about in Chinese mythology?
Okay.
That this is the
Yeah.
dot I want to try to connect. This is what we do here. We look up stuff in real time so that we actually show you we're researching it. So yes, that's what we're doing, and we're talking about unicorns and other crazy, wacky cryptids.
And
I should
also,
have
I
closed the
actually
window.
do have a theory about the horn while I'm looking this up. I think it
Yes.
might have been to try to hide the medicinal properties and make people think that it was all myth and it was an alchemical translation so that only people who already knew or people who knew how to read the tongue of the alchemist could translate it and understand that it was a real thing and it was just obfuscated so that, everyone wouldn't know about it. Like hermetic orders.
So that's a tough one because I think when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, I'm sure that there were doctors who knew of those medicinal properties, and the common man doesn't because the common man has to do work in fields and things like that and take care of oxen, stuff like that. So I don't want to say because I don't want to do that. I don't want to put it in a place where only certain people can have it. I feel like that's something that is relatively known. Like it's not something that's hush
Yeah.
hush, needs to be quiet.
Okay.
So for me, I think that when you talk about that, because what I'm trying to do is put a solid foundation to build off of. Um, if the horn was magical, what you or medicinal, I'm sorry, not
Yeah.
magical, medicinal, what I would do is look to see if any European traders made their way to China and brought that back in some form or fashion, because then you could collect legends. But here's my issue: 92 unicorn legends have been around a very,
Yeah.
very, very long time.
And what I look up here actually says that it was unknown to ancient Chinese culture and is absent from
Mm,
traditional pharmacopoeias and folklore. However, the nickname Asian unicorn often leads people to confuse it with something known as the Quilin in Vietnam, which is a mythical creature in Chinese mythology. And the origin of the Quilin is first appeared in Chinese texts during the Eastern Zhou, Zhou, I hope I pronounced that right, period from 771 to 256 BCE, with descriptions dating back as far as 2700 BCE. And some scientists speculate that there's a thunderstorm happening outside right now. That the Quilin myth might have been inspired by distant prehistoric encounters with koalas or similar bovids in southern China, but there's no direct evidence, and the koala's current range is limited to Vietnam and Laos.
what's still my issue in all of this is that European unicorns were before these times.
Yeah.
We need to connect the bridge that would link China and Europe, or at least try to link it. Maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't, but I
Was
think
there a
that's where
land
you
bridge at the
start.
time?
I think there was a lot of trading going on. I do
Yeah.
want to say there was probably a lot of trading going on at some point. When that trading started, once again, please look up when trading with China started. Look up Europe and China. Don't look up the US. See, we do it. We do it live for you guys because we love you guys. We're giving you the vintage, classic, uncanny. Why be boring when you can be uncanny? Subscribe. You could do it right now. You could do it. He's typing. You could be like, subscribe. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's how
Yeah,
this
do it.
works.
How this works.
That's why we had Count Saint Germain on here before.
We miss him. We miss you,
Yep.
Count.
So it says right here, trade formally began with the opening of the Silk Road by the Han Dynasty in 130 BCE, facilitating the exchange of silk, spices, and ideas, keyword ideas, for over
130 BC.
1,500 years. Direct maritime trade was later established by Portuguese in 1517 when George Alvarez became the first European land in China. Now,
130.
between the Quilin,
So
and
wait.
trade
Let me.
goods.
I don't mean
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt you.
Oh, you're good.
So the earliest time that you have is the one you just gave me, correct?
Yes. 130 BCE is when the trade started.
Okay. Now do me another favor. Look up when the first unicorn legend was spoken.
Well, I actually had something right here because I had already typed that into my previous question,
There we go.
and I already thought ahead. And it
Good
said
call.
the
Good call.
Chinese quilin, often translated as unicorn, was a common motif on porcelain and silk traded along these routes. And European merchants frequently imported these goods featuring the creature, though they often misunderstood its cultural significance as a symbol of benevolence and prophecy. And the artistic fusion by the 17th and 18th centuries, the image of the quilin appeared on European Delftware and other imitations, blending Chinese mythology with Western artistic styles. So it sounds like that might be a good source of where it may have originated
Yep.
from
Yep.
repaired
Yep.
porcelain.
But you would have to do more research on that and see, like,
Yeah.
okay, because that still does not take away the mysteries regarding it. You know what I mean? Like the horn being used for medicinal purposes.
Marco Polo actually described in the late 13th century when he traveled to China, he claimed to have seen unicorns and he described them as ugly brutes with thick skin and a single horn, clearly identified them as rhinoceroses, not the mythical like creatures of European legend.
See, that's tough because
Yep.
that's a very accurate description of a
It is.
rhinoceros.
A rhino is technically a unicorn.
So, but once again,
One horn.
it still doesn't explain the King Arthurian legends, style legends about that.
Yeah.
Now, what I would think is there has to be maybe something to the effect of the Pegasus and the unicorn, maybe some connection there.
Maybe they got melded together somehow.
It's possible. Legends go over time. People would lose their mind if there was a Pegasus unicorn. That'd be about it. People would just be gone. Imagine. Well, here's the thing: unicorns sometimes fly. Not all the time. In some legends, they don't. But there's times when they have wings. But aren't they just Pegasus at that point? Let me know, chat. He's typing. We're talking. Subscribe today. Watch it. Hang out. You'll have fun. I promise.
Dude, you just invented something brand new. Pegasus unicorns. There is no historical, mythological, or biological relation between the Asian unicorn and the Pegasus or the Western unicorn. The Pegasus is a winged horse from Greek mythology, while the Western unicorn is a horse-like creature with a single horn. Neither appears in ancient Asian myths, nor are they linked to the swala, which is a real non-winged bovine.
Okay. So what if they all just had their own species?
Yeah.
Think
like
about it like this.
Little version
we
of
have
swallow.
deer and other people have reindeer. We don't have reindeer. So you
Exactly.
had that's something I think that should be looked into.
I actually, when I was younger, when I was a little kid, I actually used to think reindeer were unicorns that lost their horn.
So where did you think the other horns came from? Where are you going? Hey, where are you going? No, no days off, right? Change your mindset.
Oh,
Where you
look!
going?
Hey,
I know.
look!
I told you.
In the chat room, James
I know.
James got us
Yes, I know.
unicorns.
I would
Unicorns in
have
the
to read
Bible.
that. Let's see. We could
Yeah,
do it
let's look it
live. I
up.
mean,
I'm gonna look it up.
I already got it. I already got it open.
Okay.
Let me pull it up, sir. Let me pull it up, please. Un
Yes.
momento. Because hold on.
We got something good here.
All right, which Job is it?
39 lines 9 through 10.
39,
Yeah.
lines 1 through 10.
9 and 10.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Are you acquainted with the bearing of the ibexes of the crag? Do you observe the traveling and birth of the hinds? Do you number the months they must fulfill? And do you know the time of their bearing? Obviously, God's talking to Job and saying, do you do what I do? They crouch, they deliver their young, they put forth the cause of their cramps. Their young ones thrive, they grow up in the open. They go forth and return no more to them. Who has sent forth the onager free, and who has unloosened the bounds of the wild donkey? Whose home I have constituted the steppe, that's interesting, and thy salty wastes as his habitat. He makes sport of the clamor of town. He does not hear the tumults. I need to spell that right or pronounce it right. Of the taskmaster, he explores the mountains as his pasture and seeks after every green thing. Is the wild bull willing to serve you? Would he lodge you all night at your crib? Can you tie the wild bull with curb and rope? Would he harrow the valves after you? I don't know. This version, I think, is more akin to what it is. I think it's a wild bull. I have to respectfully disagree with that. Respectfully, I don't, you're a friend, so we can agree to disagree as friends because we all know who we all know the end game. We all know the end game, so it is what it is. But you're a fellow brother, so I won't, you know, family, your family. So now I am going to get into some fun times. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have
Yep.
fun. Unfortunately, I didn't find um I did not find a googly eye to put in the middle of my forehead. So wouldn't matter because then I would have three eyes and not one, because then that wouldn't make any sense. You wouldn't have three eyes, one phone when I
It
was
would
talking
make
about
sense because you have a third eye in your forehead right there. It's when you get awakened to inner knowledge, gnosis. It's a whole spiritual belief thing.
Well, actually, that's also your it's a gland that gets crystallized over
Pineal
as you
gland.
grow older.
The pineal gland.
So the Cyclops is a humanoid bipedal creature in Greek legends. Our biggest legend comes from one Polyphemus, who basically was a giant cannibal. I want you to hold on to that word giant because we're gonna hi-ya into that one here in a hot second. Um, so he's basically a cannibal, and Odysseus and his men basically get trapped there. He said, "I'm just gonna eat you if you try to leave." So he rolls a stone in front of the door. Well, Odysseus and his men decide to get him back. And they take a sharpened stick. They've been sharpening this stick all day. All day, it says. They put it in the fire, heat it up, and jam it in his eye after they get him drunk. That would be awful. You must be a horrible person for somebody to get you drunk and then stab you in the eye. Like, that's not,
He's
that
a
ain't
very
it, Chief.
stupid giant.
That ain't it, Chief. However, he's still a giant.
Mhm.
And even though he doesn't have an eye, doesn't mean he's crazy. Now you're probably, I would lose my marbles.
Yeah.
I would lose my marbles.
I know where
And
this story is headed, though.
he still locks him in. So what they do is he has these large sheep. They're large, and they tie themselves underneath. so that because he's checking over the top of them to see if they're on their backs. He doesn't think they're on their stomachs. Now, where Odysseus falters is at the end, he yells his name out, which would later come back to curse him. Pride of man. I digress. That's just one tale. The other tale is is a little more interesting, and I think would placate to certain biblical text if we can connect the dots, which we could do, I think, genetically, which is one of the most important things I think that we have to do when we are dealing with creatures of a magnitude. Yes.
There is a conspiracy theory going around social media right now that the FBI is working with Ancestry and 23andMe because they completed the entire human genome back in 2003, as we already know all about that. And then BlackRock bought that up. And the reason BlackRock bought it up, the conspiracy theory says that the reason BlackRock bought it up is to help the CIA track down angels, Nephilim, and alien DNA.
Well, they haven't came and got me yet, so fingers crossed. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, so the next tale is roughly about three brothers, and these are the children of Uranus and Gaia. So, like the supreme beings in Greek mythology, and they create weapons. So they're craftsmen for the gods, and they make a bunch of weapons, including the greatest one, Zeus's thunderbolt. However, these three who made this, the thunderbolt killed Apollo's son. So Apollo, in revenge, killed all three of the Cyclops. Now, what this sets up for us, and I think this is interesting, and by the way, their names, and we're going to have fun with this one, Brontus, Steropus, and Argus. So these are three, once again, giants. Woo, giants. Here we go again. We're gonna connect some dots tonight on this here show. Craftsmen. Now let's go back a little bit. The union of male or of female and angelic being or divine being, however you want to put it. They teach mankind how to do things. Walk with me. Come on, let's go. That doesn't say that there weren't craftsmen to create things. But things had to be created. How were they created? You could teach man to do something, but there's certain things you need very, very large beings for.
Is this headed towards Tartaria?
No, not
okay.
Not at all. Not at all. It's just and this is a theory and a hypothesis. I have no evidence that this is a real thing.
The Russian government does, though.
Maybe. But here's the thing, I don't. And until I do, yep. It's a theory. It's nothing more than a theory. Doesn't matter if you have it. If in my belief I don't have any definitive proof, it has to stay a theory. You know what I mean? It has to. And people say, oh, but you believe in religious aspects. I do, because I believe that spirituality is much different on that level. The spirit is a different thing. So you have to try to attune it properly. But what I find interesting about the Cyclops, and I did some digging. And what I think we always fail to neglect, well, I think we don't take it into account because of how strange it is. What if the eye, is just a birth defect? That's all. It's a birth defect. A birth defect from the uniting of messengers and females. Because this would make sense, because these babies became Nephilim and they were eating and doing profane things. This is why the people cried out to Enoch, and Enoch talked to God, and God said, "It's done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I've had enough. This wasn't supposed to happen." But he knew it was going to happen. Because mankind is wicked. not to get on any tangent or anything, but that's humankind. But what I find interesting is, so I said to myself, okay, what else would constitute a birth defect, right? So in 2 Samuel 21:20, it describes a giant from Gath who had 6 digits on each hand. Okay, that's 12 fingers. And then it talks about another battle at Gath. And a gigantic man came with 6 fingers on his hands and 6 toes on his feet, 24 in number. He too was a votary or a follower or an adherent, because that's what that means, to the Rapha. The Rapha were giants, right? So here we are mapping a birth defect, 6 fingers, right? Which would make sense because of, let's throw another one out there for Chad and everybody else. Let's take a little lower. Let's take it human side, right? Let's take it human side. If anybody's familiar with the Plantagenet dynasty, right, or the Habsburg, Joel, these were all birth defects / genetic defects because the inbreeding that was going on, the mingling of familial, right? So it's not too far off to say that if, in fact, this union between watcher and female would produce something very similar, it would have to. And I would tell you why. Because the Nephilim, or the giants that were here on Earth, went crazy. They started eating everything in sight, and when they could not eat, they started eating man. God's like, "No, I love man. We gotta is adios, amigos." So in that regard, that's not to say there wouldn't have been craftsmen. They just have birth defects. Because it wouldn't just be a birth defect physically. There could also be mental birth defects because they committed profane acts and blasphemous things, which probably they were doing things to people that wicked. Just you don't even think about it because it's bad.
Did you say 6 fingers and 6 toes for a total of 24?
Yep, 6, 12,
Did you
18,
see the
24.
numerology?
No, what was it? Go ahead.
Well, Satan's number, the evil number, is 666, right?
Mm,
6 fingers, 6 toes. You add all together, you get 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. That's 666.
Not to say that
Yeah.
might not be the case. I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't think it's meant to be taken as that. I think it's more meant to be taken that these things still existed.
Yeah. No, I was just saying because of they were seen as evil, right? It was just
Yes.
ironic to me that they were both seen as evil and the number of their limbs added up to 666.
Let's do this though. My issue with that is we're looking at 666 from an English / American background. We're not looking at it from the lens it should be looked through. That's the issue we're doing. We're looking at it in a way that just is doomsday. That's not. It's not that. It's essentially mankind because mankind is certain things. That's not something I can get into because it'll cause a stir. It'll cause a stir, but what I will say is the interesting aspect for this is being able to be like, okay, what birth defects did these giants have in the Bible? And that came up. And obviously stature would be another one. Because if everybody's the same height and you start having a bunch of people that are higher than you, that's a genetic defect because you're not supposed to be that high.
Who determines the difference between a genetic defect and an evolution, though?
That's a good question. Well, I would feel like the evolution would be beneficial.
Yeah. But that's what I was getting at. Wouldn't taller be more beneficial?
Not if taller is so mentally gone that it eats whatever it sees.
And it's hard on your bones too, I've heard.
And it grew. No.
Not back
Because
then.
wait, because we have to also understand, and I love this. We're gonna get into something I love talking about. So, um, Native American giants existed. I mean, this is fact. This is facts. Were they
But
the
were they
super
like
hyper
8,
tall?
9 feet?
A lot of times, I think most of them were. I think 10 feet. You
Okay.
know, I think you're 16 feet. It's a little much. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but
Someone
I
had to put those
lean
totem poles up.
I lean more towards them being maybe 10 feet,
Yeah.
being very accurate, being very fast. Now, was that a product of Nephilim genes? It's an interesting question. And that's something that, if we had the bones, I see you, Smithsonian. We might be able to pull the DNA from them and understand a little bit better where that sequence lies. Obviously, this won't happen, but that's something that should happen because you would be able to trace genetic sequences, and if the genetic sequence is broken or
And why do you
it,
think they don't want us to do that? Because we already know the results. But
I
if
mean,
we confirm the results, then they can't deny it anymore. But they can deny it so long as we can't confirm it.
I don't know. I think until we have some sort of proof with that, we're just speculating.
Even
You
if
know
we
what
get
I
the
mean?
proof, people will just say it's AI generated. There is
And
no such
maybe
thing as evidence with AI anymore.
that's why AI was invented.
Yep, exactly.
But I don't think so. I think what I tell people is, I mean, obviously AI could write books, right?
Yeah.
Um, my thing is get authors that you know's books. Do that. If you're looking for
Yep.
books that are going to better your studies, do that or go to used bookstores. I like to go to used bookstores. Sometimes you get lucky though, and you get a book like this honker right here of a freaking book. This thing's big, man.
Oh,
This
nice.
is huge. But look, so on the inside, it's Cyclops, and
Ta-da.
it talks about the symbolic aspect
Yeah.
of the Cyclops, which it represents the attunement to fruitful nature, as well as the brute instinctual powers that are the biological foundation of human as an animal being. One does well to approach such energies with something other than timidity and contempt. Psychologically, they point to the residue in ourselves of that unconscious wholeness at the beginning of mental development that is full of life and has the potential for consciousness,
That's
but
why we
as
cry when we're born.
but is as cruel, as uncivilized as nature itself, and has a tendency to swallow its own product. The terracotta figure suggests that both conscious and unconscious suffer from such devouring. So they said all that.
Yep.
They said all that to say that it's a basic mental defect. Because that's what that was. I don't think, like I said, I think the it's like if you go to, they used to have like shows where they would put people on display like
The
the bearded
bearded lady.
lady. Oh, I like how we both
Yep.
thought of that. That's hilarious. Um, and to show those people off. And so once again, I think some of this is just a genetic abnormality. But my point when dealing with the Native American giants, they're fast, they can fight, they can run. That I think we need to look into
Ooh,
that aspect of giants.
like
And this
Wendigo.
yeah,
Because
see,
they
but the
were known to
problem
be tall, right?
here's the problem. I'm looking for a logical, like, these that kind of tall people okay, we talked about this earlier. So the reality for me, and that's what I'm looking for, because I want to be able to break it down reality wise so I can start connecting dots. Um, with giants, I look at them as something that is either a product of that union, genetic, abnormality. I think abnormality works better in what we're talking about. So let me rephrase. I think genetic abnormality, especially when you can run and jump and still be that tall. Because we had a very tall man. I forget his name. It was Robert. Who was the tallest man? You're my
Let's.
data guy. You got to be the data guy. You got to be quick, data guy. Anyways, while he's doing that, let me tell you about the great time we're having right now. Subscribe. Like if you're not doing, you could do it
Robert
right now.
Wadlow.
How tall was he?
He was 8'11",
Okay. So if you look at him,
439 pounds at death.
if you look at him, he has trouble. But these giants did not have trouble. Once again, why would the Smithsonian want those bones? And why would they go to great lengths to cover it up? I think that's a question we have to ask ourselves. Okay, sir, we have about 15 minutes left. What do you got for us?
Hydra, not as a real creature, but as symbolism. Because one thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is the story of Hercules fighting the Hydra. And here's the deal. I believe Hercules was symbolic of the free people, the serfs uniting with the nobles to fight against a common enemy known as the Hydra, which had 3 heads. There are 3 sections of modern day government, 3 branches of government. So what if each head of the Hydra was representative of a leader of a foreign enemy state, and the whole point of the Hydra was to convince people and give them a symbol to stand up against, to free themselves and liberate themselves from oppression?
So I want to say this. I want to talk about why it could be real. That's what I want to talk about.
Yep.
I get the symbolism aspect, much like the Cyclops, but I think, once again, I think there's things from the world. How do I phrase this correctly?
That used to be real, but they kind of went extinct.
Yes, but from a different time period, like a very, 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 very long time ago, long before we knew what
Before
was,
the
right?
dinosaurs.
Yes,
Yeah.
or Deering. It doesn't matter. Maybe Deering. I think some of that still existed, right? So I think the Hydra is, I think it is once again, a genetic abnormality. And where's the 8? Because I know they talk about the Hydra having 8 heads.
Oh, I don't know about the 8. The stuff I was looking at was just talking about it having multiple heads.
Now, what I do get, because
see.
you could use it for satire by implicating like a politician, right? Like
Yeah.
3 or 4 politicians. I understand this concept.
Because I always thought it was
Tessa,
like,
hey Tessa, what's up?
I always remembered it being as like 3 heads initially.
So 8, like, okay, so we know that Dante's Inferno was basically a diss mixtape towards the
The
political power. The political
Yeah.
power. It was a diss track.
Oh, the regeneration feature was added later to later versions of the Hydra story.
Well, yeah, because people compound all myths, sure.
Yeah.
But what was the original head count?
That's what I'm trying to look up right now.
Because you're right, it could mean defending against the government. Hercules being sort of an Atlas from Bioshock.
It doesn't specify the initial head count. It just says multiple heads. It is killed by Heracles or Hercules as the second of his 12 labors.
Imagine having to do that. Imagine having to do that. And I think Greek mythology is Nephilim. I think it's under Nephilim rule. Too many things line up. For instance, the Minotaur, the giants did wicked things. Yeah. Like wicked. Like DNA changing wicked.
Like Files wicked.
Very much. So here's the thing. Like the Minotaur at Crete. One of my favorite tales, right? It's stuck in the labyrinth. What if, and obviously, once again, I'm saying this with theory because I enjoy it. What if it was a byproduct of that action, and then it was so rowdy that they had to build a maze to surround it? And maybe they threw, I mean, it would be a good place to guard treasure. Yeah. That's solid. But that means somebody has to go get it. And ain't nobody wanting to go in there and fight the Minotaur. You got a good trip? No, I do not got to go. I quit. You'll die. I'm going to die either way. I don't want to get gored by a Minotaur. This ain't Dark Souls, Chief. I think that when you talk about stuff like this, and I like it because I like to genetically see where things move by process. So for me, like things like the unicorn, things like the Kraken, well the Kraken, because I do want to get into that.
Yeah.
I think the Kraken is very much real.
I do too.
And let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Kraken. Do you mind if we start talking about the Kraken? Star, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did you want to say anything about it before I?
No, that's it. Let's go.
So, anyways, what's Kraken? I've been wanting to say
Giant
that all
squids
day.
in the ocean.
I've been wanting to say that all day. So, obviously, it's a legendary sea monster from Norse mythology and was first discussed in Norwegian glossary by Christian Jensen. Who I didn't get one of them crazy Norwegian names that has like J's and K's and no vowels. Those are rough. You gotta ask them how to pronounce those kind of names. This is the beginning of the tale, or is it? And I'm sure Steven's going to get a big kick out of this. Like, if he doesn't jump up and click his heels together, something's wrong with the boy. No, I'm kidding. Akororo Kamui was a massive red octopus, like Kamui, divine being, that was said to stretch over an entire hectare. So I mathematically wanted to see how big a hectare was, right? So it's 170 or 107,639 square feet. So I didn't understand square feet at first, so I had to look that up. Yeah, I don't know. And then it broke it down to acres. It's 2.47 acres. Jeez. 2.47 acres size creature like that. Now, do I think it existed? Yes, I 100% do. And I will tell you why. Steven, you're my data man. I'm about to talk to him real quick. Look up
the largest squid ever.
No.
Oh, because I already did that.
I'm trying to remember. I'll draw a blank. But go ahead. What is that? Go ahead. Tell us. Tell us for fun.
The heaviest squid is known as the colossal squid, and the title for maximum mass with confirmed specimens reaching 495 kilograms or 1,091 pounds, an estimate suggesting some may weigh up to 1,650 pounds or 750 kilograms.
How big is he? How area size? What's the square feet?
Yeah, the giant squid is longer, with recent estimates placing its maximum body size, including tentacles, at around 13 meters or 43 feet, compared to the colossal squid's estimated maximum length of 10 to 14 meters or 33 to 46 feet.
So shouts out to Mac. That's my homie. He does alchemical breakdowns, and I'm not talking about on your cardboard box. He might break dance. I don't know, but that's the homie. So we have a lot of discussions about things. So what's up, man?
11 to 12 inches for the eyes alone.
So here's what I want you to look up. How much of the ocean have we explored? Percentage. Give me a percentage.
Oh, I'm gonna say.
Give me a percentage.
Low. Hold on.
Oh no, it's very low. It's very low. The pressure alone would kill you, even in a submarine. Would y'all go to the ocean, like down deep in the ocean? Would you guys do that? Let me know in chat if you would.
Submarine, yeah.
Submarines would be cool, but bro, I'd rather fly.
Wait, why is that article so old?
Because I'm okay.
I'm kidding. Okay, here we go. This article is from January 10th, 2025 from oceana.org. Says that we have 80% of the ocean is undiscovered. So we have explored 20% of it as of January 2025.
Listen, Tessa, me and my homies, I'll swim in it. I like swimming in the ocean. That's fun to me. I highly enjoy that. But in terms of like, we get to go down in, no, we do not get to go down into the ocean. I'd rather go to space. If I had to pick between going into the ocean or going to space, I'll go to space.
And see, that's why we will never find the most interesting things, because they are at the bottom of the ocean under all that pressure.
No, yep, you keep them.
That's why meditation says to go inward. It's the same thing with the planet.
Nope, because all that inward nonsense is all good and fine until you run into a Kraken. And he's like, "What's cracking? 57
what,
arms just tearing your
you
ship
don't think
apart."
you're gonna find a space kraken out there? There's space
No,
kraken.
no, there's no space
Yeah,
kraken.
they're made with
No,
technology. They're just not
that's
biological
that's
creatures.
just the Reapers from Mass Effect. That's all that is. That's just the Reapers from Mass Effect. Come on. No, so and it's 20%. Anybody that's ever been to an ocean at all, I've been to the Atlantic and the Pacific. Vast, right? Vast. You have no idea what lurks down there, and you know what? I don't want to know. That's why I like being up here on
I think
land.
Mac is right. I agree with Mac.
No, but I'm saying, like, I wouldn't do it. Like, if I had to pick between going to space or going to the bottom of the ocean, space. Bye. See ya. Nope. Nope. Either way, if it goes, it goes. But I'd rather go out in space because, you know what I mean? I'm so fly. Got him. No, I'm kidding. So, no. Would you go deep in the sea, Steven? Steve guy?
If I knew that there was a, like Mac said, if there was a
No,
vessel
no. Right now, if the government said, Steven, we need you at a top secret research facility deep into the ocean, are you coming? What would you say?
Well, I would be curious, but just because the government.
No time to answer. What would you say?
No, because I dislike the government.
Oh, you're gonna get blasted. You're gonna ruin this for us. Because see, you infiltrate. We get it on the show, bro. We're all probably gonna get murked, but we'll be paid. I wouldn't mind sitting in a jacuzzi for a few hours before Uncle Sam's like, "Hey, you ain't supposed to know that." Like, what do you mean I'm supposed to know that? I'm kidding.
Not wrong, Mac. Mac is right. Either way, we die.
We're just having fun. We're having fun. We're goofing, right? It's Saturday goof night.
You can't breathe either way. So
either way.
Wait a minute.
Because I don't want to get ate.
Are we allowed to use gene? Are we allowed to use gene splicing?
You are not allowed to do anything outside of the parameters of the technology we have right now. And no, we do not have gene splicing like that.
Yes, we do. It's called CRISPR technology, and all we got to do is take the genes out of the tardigrades, put them into the human body, and we can go up in outer space right now.
First of all,
spacesuits. It is 100% possible right now today.
Okay,
not for you or me, but we do have the technology for that.
Listen. I'm not saying we do or don't. I'm saying logically.
Logically, yes, we do have the technology to splice our genes.
Okay, so I want you to get your splice, and then you got to come back and tell us about it.
No, because they don't care about me. They're not going to splice me, and even
they love you. They love you. I get fan mail from them, and they're like, "He is the most adorable person we've ever seen." They love you. They love you. Oh, stop!
They're just
you don't think highly enough of yourself.
All their secrets.
See, they love you.
But they can't say anything because if they said anything, it would just expose their secrets as actual truths.
That's why they love you.
You know, they can't actually.
Listen, it gives them something to do. They're like, hey, we got to make that guy be quiet. But they love you. As soon as they knew that we were doing a show together, they were excited. They're like, yeah. Started playing I Want to Rock in the background. Because I think that's what they listen to. I think my FBI agent probably listens to like a lot of classic rock. I would believe. I believe we probably have some things in common.
My FBI agent listens to Ride of the Valkyrie in cahoots with the CIA agent who is writing down everything I say.
We're just talking.
Yeah.
Just having fun. We're just a little baseball. I didn't get to the baseball, but I can't even say it.
They can't prove anything I've said.
But they don't want to.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't, they just don't want to.
It would look bad for them.
Because we live in a society like that now. We just don't want to. We don't have to.
We're all being surveilled by the FBI. It's called the Patriot Act.
Oh, I saw that movie. That was with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was in it. He was like for the revolution, and he was like, I'm gonna get you. And George Washington was like, I'll see you later. And George Washington
Act was after 9/11 when they allowed spying on every single American citizen in the entire country.
He's right.
And they were
then it got strengthened.
And they
but we can't go too crazy. Still a show about cryptids. We can't go too nuts.
Well, it is.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree.
I mean, I think.
But I do think those files that they have definitely have information about things like that.
Yeah.
Like you can guarantee they know something is in that ocean that probably would eat like an island.
Yep.
You guys, you can all take your
Gojira!
you can all put your little sweet boats in that water. You know what? Because I'll be in space. Yeah, if it goes wrong, cool.
Oh,
Fine. As long as
that was
alien or
kind of
predator
funny.
isn't around. If predator's around, that's okay because if you don't fight the predator, he won't fight you. But the alien will just eat your face. I don't want to get an alien baby impregnated into my solar plexus. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'll take my
Oh,
risk with the ocean. All right,
you got
y'all.
enough
That's
kids.
all right, y'all. Let's get out of here. I hope you all have a good night. Wait, hold on. We have a question. Why have orcas been attacking boats? Because we
Yep.
no. I just think orcas are the cats of the sea. Orcas are cats of the sea. They F with stuff. You know who's let me tell you this, and pardon me. The worst are wasps. They just mess with you to mess with you. I think orcas do the same stuff. They just do it. They do it because they can, just like a wasp. He can sting you. Why? Because he
Well,
can.
actually, I saw a wasp today, and as long as you don't show fear, the wasp will leave you alone. It literally flew right up to me, landed on my shirt, walked around for like 10 seconds, and then just flew away.
Oh no, we're throwing hands. You get near me, you're getting walloped, dolloped.
Yeah, I
And I'm
used to
not
do
backing
that.
down.
I
I'm
used to
not
do
backing down.
that, and then I realized the truth of reality.
The truth of reality is if I get stung, I'm gonna be furious.
The truth of reality is we are all joined as one.
Facts. Facts, Tessa, facts. And hornets? Oh, nope.
It
The shadow
actually
boxing,
was a
boy. Let's
black
go.
wasp.
I'm kidding.
It
I'm
was a black
kidding.
wasp I was messing with today. He's my buddy.
We're out. It's time to go. You guys have a great night. Thank you for being here for our cryptid discussion that went off the rails. As always, I am your host. He is my co-host. Our other co-host is doing, I don't know, he's doing something. Nobody knows what that guy does, but he'll be back next week talking about whatever he talks about. You guys are awesome. And as always, why be boring when you could be uncanny? See y'all later. Peace.